Hi everyone. Only 2 days remaining in the campaign, so I hope you're all excited. I know we are here. With that said, I think a video update is long overdue, so I wanted to get one out to you guys real quick. Alright, so in this video I want to cover a few announcements, and as soon as that's over, I'm going to actually cover a question that's been on a lot of people's minds during the Insomnia Tour as well as in Kickstarter, and that is what is the story that we're going to be writing about? Um, I wanted to get an update out earlier. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. So here it is. So, with that said, let's start with the announcements. The very first thing I wanted to cover in this video update, since we haven't done it yet, is get an update out that's a video of us saying thank you, because we honestly couldn't have done it without you guys, and we really appreciate the fact that in 3 days you guys got us to goal. That is fantastic. We were really excited about that. A lot of people on the road have talked to us about, oh well, it's a really humble goal of only 250,000. A few people that have interviewed us have asked about that as well. But when it really comes down to it, this campaign for us isn't about the money. It's about the people. Um, we knew we could get this book out, and we just really want to start drawing people into our community, get them excited, and get them involved. And the more people we can get on this campaign, the more influence we have on the product, and the better the final product will be. So it's more about the number of people we can get involved than it is the amount of money we can raise. But nevertheless, we hit goal, which is fantastic. We've more than doubled it already, so we're incredibly excited. We couldn't thank you guys enough. Um, so thank you. So that was announcement number one. Number two, we just wanted to cover basically where we've been this whole time. We have been asked, we've kind of been quiet on this campaign, and we wanted someone to drive it from back home. Unfortunately, it couldn't happen. We just didn't have the funds, and so instead, while we were out on the Insomnia Tour, which for those of you that don't know, we covered, we went coast from to coast across the U.S., covered 5 different cities, and actually went to 4 different conferences all in the period of 1 month. So we've been out there, we've been trying to get word out. We have a lot of people excited, and most importantly, we've met a lot of great people that have gotten involved in the project. Um, Not necessarily in the book, but in the development of the game. We actually recorded over 300 fan animations for Escaping Titan, and soon enough, if you keep an eye out, those videos are going to be going up online, where we'll actually allow you, the fans, to vote on the videos and decide which animations you want to see in the game. We're really excited about it, and we hope you guys are too, because again, the more people we get involved, the better our product's going to be. And we truly believe that you guys know what you want to see, so we're letting you guys vote on what you want in the game. Um, and then the final announcement I'd like to make real quick is just the fact that we added a new reward level since the start of the campaign. There has been an update that's gone out about it, but we haven't done a video update yet, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. The whole reason we added a new reward level was something we noticed on the road, and something we've said multiple times is we want you involved. Like, we absolutely love fan participation, and then we realized we didn't include a fan participation reward, and that was horrible. We had to add one. We went back and thought it out, and we made sure we got one up there last minute, uh, that allows you guys to get involved. So at the $20 reward level, you can come in and actually get early drafts of some of the short stories, and you'll get the chance to edit them, correct all the spelling mistakes that I'm sure I'll have in there, and make sure that, one, the final draft is well polished and everyone's going to enjoy what they read. And on top of that, it actually gives you a chance to get a little bit of feedback to me, so I understand, am I going the right way with the piece? Is it enjoyable to read? Does it start to lull out a little bit? And in the end, the product's going to be that much better because we're getting fan participation, and we know you guys have had an impact, and you're seeing what you want to see. So that's why we put that reward in there for you guys. Um, so that's all the major announcements I have. So without further ado, I really want to get into answering your question. that we've run into, and that is, what is the story to Broken Crown Escaping Titan? Because I guess we really haven't gone over it to that with you guys that much in the campaign. So here we go. The whole entire premise behind Broken Crown Escaping Titan is a solar flare, like absolutely massive solar flare, hits Earth. And for those of you that know a little bit about solar flares and the science behind them, they have the ability to disrupt and even destroy electronics. And so if we were hit by a large enough solar flare, it could essentially act as a worldwide EMP wave that pretty much fries all of our electronics. And after working with astrophysicists, we actually noticed that if the solar flare was large enough, it could disrupt the magnetic field around Earth and possibly let a little bit of our atmosphere escape. And when that happens, we could slowly be introduced to more gamma radiation. And that's what happens in the story. Basically, a solar flare hits Earth, destroys our electronics, and in the process wipes away some of our atmosphere, so we slowly start dying off. And without our technology, we're pretty much left stranded as plants, animals, and even humans slowly begin to die off and going into a post-apocalyptic style feel. Um, the only saving grace for us in the storyline is a tiny research colony out on Mars, and that's where the story really takes place and really starts taking off. This research colony is very similar to what we find out on the International Space Station today. It's a temporary stay facility where scientists can go out and perform research, but it's not meant for long-term living. So these scientists, when the solar flare hits Earth, they're basically cut off from their lifeblood, and they have to find a way to survive. And they do. They survive, and eventually they thrive. They actually terraform all of Mars and create a society out there. And when that happens, they early on they realize it's dangerous to be a one planet species. They've seen what has happened to Earth and the ignorance we had in being a one planet species. So they immediately start a space era when they get the chance. And um, as soon as they get the power to travel around space, that begins what we call the Terror Boom era in the lore. And during the Terror Boom era, people start taking to spaceships and spreading out across the galaxy. Um, so first it's governments, and then it's companies and corporations, and after that it's organizations, and after that it's even just adventurous individuals that just want to go out and see what's out there, and they start uh, colonizing every single little planetary body they can find across the solar system, and they expand further and further and further out from Mars. And as they go further out, they eventually hit Saturn's moon of Titan, which is the largest moon in the solar system, and they actually they begin to colonize that. And they keep expanding, going further and further and further out. And as they go further out, eventually Saturn becomes the centralized location in the solar system, and because Titan is the largest moon, it's declared capital of the solar system. And when this happens, there's this huge influx of money and power into the capital city, and that essentially breaks the economy. They just weren't prepared for this, and they weren't colonized or terraformed enough to maintain this huge influx. And when that happens, the working class slowly gets driven out of the city, and there's this huge divide between the working class and this elitist class that's been drawn into the city, and governments begin to form around each, or organizations form around each. And originally they're civil and try to make things work, but as time goes on and on and on, they begin to get more volatile with their interactions, and that's the setting that Escaping Titan takes place in. I'm not going to go into too much more detail, but essentially that's the back cover if this were a book already. That's the gist of how we got to where we are and what is currently taking place. I really didn't cover anything that's going to be covered directly in the short stories, and I haven't really covered any of the science that you're going to find in the volumes 1 through 4 either. But between the two, there's a really great mix, and what makes this story so great is the fact that when you're reading it and you're listening to it or playing through it, it's almost like watching a movie, and before you watch the movie, you see the based on true events. and it just draws you in that much more. And if it's a scary movie, scares you that much more because you know, wow, this really happened to someone, or this happened at some point. And yeah, history is great, but what about the future? And that's where science really comes in. We're making the future. And so the scientists that we brought in help us show what is one potential future for our species. And that's what we try to display in this game and in the storyline. And we really hope it immerses you and draws you in. For those of you that have donated, I really hope this gets you excited and you're ready to read this book now. And those of you that haven't, I hope it either gets you to maybe reconsider donating. And if not, it's still great. We love the fact that you're coming out watching this. And if you don't mind, jump on Facebook, Twitter, begin to follow us, and really keep track of our progress as we go through. And you can always jump on board a little bit later. So uh, thanks everyone for checking us out. We really appreciate the support to date. And thanks for getting us the goal and actually doubling our funds so far. And we've already hit our first stretch goal for the number of backers that we're looking for, which is fantastic. Again, the more people we can get involved, the better. So those $1 donations are just as important as anybody that wants to donate at that $500 level. Everyone's important. So thanks for stopping by, checking us out, and have a good day.